The hypothesis of our story is that although 75–80% of the PBM industry is consolidated into three large companies, Optum Rx, CVS, Caremark, and Express Scripts, that there's this sort of beehive of activity of the smaller PBMs, and that this is sort of something new. Do you think that's the right way to think about it?
I would term that as fair. And I think having dealt with jumbo employers over the last 10 years, I think it's the noise of dissatisfaction with the incumbent PBM industry continues to grow. I think the pharmaceutical marketplace is expanding so rapidly that private equity is really starting to take notice, because let's face it, that's what's driving a decent amount of this activity. And they're saying, well, holy cow, this could be a $600–700 billion industry by 2027, knowing that it's 2022 now, and I look for things in a 4 or 5 year turn cycle. So a huge part of the industry doesn't seem to be taking care of its customers the way the customers would like. It's going to continue to grow fast. If I can grab a small piece of this really big pie, it turns into a really good thing for me. Cool, let's go see if we can figure that out. I do feel that that's most of the activity. And then I think a smaller part of the activity is people who deeply understand what's happening in the industry, see a lot of the problems that are existing, and are trying to bring market-driven solutions forward to try to meet those needs.
Could you put a number on the number of smaller PBMs out there?
My number would have been 50 to 60 is what I was really thinking. I think counting the new PBMs I know, thinking about what I see in the marketplace, I really think it's more in that 50 to 60 range that's trying to do it. And I think that 50 to 60 does not have 20 or 25% of the business, of course. That's honestly, like, they might represent 3% of this industry right now, if they're lucky.
Is there any way to sort of organize one's thinking about what those 50 or 60 companies are doing? So are they, are some of them tech companies? Are some of them like EmsanaRx? I don't know, maybe, well, we'll get to you, but, promising a PBM service or arrangement which is more transparent and doesn't have some of the problems, and therefore maybe you're not a tech company, but you're going to operate differently. Or some of them may be operating in particular niches. I believe that there are some PBMs who just do workers' comp work, right?
I do think I would start with the technology-driven companies first, so call it the Capital Rx and the prescriptives, because I think they came into this saying, fundamentally, part of what's broken is the fact that most PBMs are working on a 30-year-old technology stack. So when you think about their ability to customize, even if they wanted to do, really good real-time reporting that's fully transparent, if they wanted to change benefits between all of their disparate clients, their technology would prevent them from really successfully being able to do that. In addition, the old stalwarts are having to put millions and millions, tens of millions, let's face it, dollars into these IT departments just to keep the beast running. Where if we as a technology company create a modern technology architecture and bring that to market that's much more customizable and lower resource intensive, we've got a really cool new PBM offering. So I do think a lot of people started there. To say technology is broken, and if we fix that, fix is a big part of the solution.
What other categories should we think about if we're thinking about the smaller PBMs?
Yeah, I think then, and I think what a lot of people have smartly done is they have taken a step back, and from their viewpoint, what is the problem that exists? And then, of course, how do I create a solution to that problem? So, some people are saying it's the service model, right? So here we're going to bring this white glove service, and we're going to navigate, because patient navigation is the big thing, because healthcare is challenging and everybody makes it harder. So I've brought this seamless solution to market that's going to help navigate people through their healthcare challenges better. I think you've got another subset of PBMs that I kind of term, not flatteringly, is the gimmicky PBMs, right? So, hey, I can send your people to Turkey to pick up their Humira and it's cheap. Hey, we do international sourcing. Hey, we've got all these foundational assistance programs, and we're going to take all of this money. And like, we don't believe that, but they're just focused on how they can use all these random programs to drive down costs. And then I think that the last bucket is people who've tried to say, hey, holistically, let's look to see how it's broken from bad contract terms to bad formularies to bad service. Like, if we really want to bring a comprehensive solution to market that makes sense, here's what that looks like. So it's
and you put yourself in that virtuous bucket.
correct. Of course. I mean, come on now.
And also there are the PBMs that are working in sort of niche areas in healthcare, like workers' comp, right?
Yeah, outside of workers' comp, there's really 4 buckets of PBM business, right? Fully insured, self-insured, Medicare, Medicaid. They're all kind of fundamentally different. So many of the big companies do all 4. We've strategically said we're only doing self-insured. That's, maybe in 5 to 7 years we change, but dealing in these other highly regulated industries is very hard. But some companies have said, look, Medicare, Medicaid's pretty regulated, but the companies doing it, again, they're pretty antiquated. And if I create a solution that helps move me in that direction, that's helpful too. So there are these multiple buckets of PBM effort that you could look at. Self-funded is maybe the biggest individual bucket, but the other ones are, obviously pretty big chunks of business too.